Hi, my name is Josiah Hunt, one of the product specialists at StudioPlus software. In this video, I'm going to introduce our new Perfectly Clear integration. Perfectly Clear is designed to save you countless hours of editing, all with the click of a button. So instead of sitting behind your computer, performing time-consuming editing, you can be out shooting and doing more productive things with your time. Perfectly Clear uses advanced patented technology that is superior to filters and enhancers because it corrects your photos pixel by pixel, replicating the way your eye gathers light and bringing back the vibrant colors and natural clarity that you saw with your own eyes. Use it as a first step in your image correction workflow to remove the most common problems created by digital cameras, such as underexposure, lack of depth, lack of sharpness, lack of color vibrancy, lack of color fidelity, and incorrect skin tones. Even the best photographers currently use Perfectly Clear with amazing results. Their pictures often are the best in the world, but they still need a little work simply because of the limitations that digital cameras have. The camera doesn't naturally capture shots exactly the way your eye saw the picture. With Perfectly Clear, we can make those corrections automatically, plus add skin smoothing with the click of a button. In this video, we will cover why you should use Perfectly Clear, how to customize your presets, what the preset options are, how to apply your presets, and what the built-in Perfectly Clear presets do. Feel free to skip around in this video though, by using the bookmarks that we provided. So why should you use Perfectly Clear? First, let's look at the science behind Perfectly Clear. But if you are already sold on Perfectly Clear, feel free to skip this section and continue on to the training part. Perfectly Clear offers award-winning patented technology that allows you to automatically correct your images at a pixel level with just 3 simple steps. All you need to do is number 1, customize your presets, number 2, select the images, and number 3, assign a preset. The Perfectly Clear integration takes it from there. It's that simple. But don't be fooled by how quick and easy it is. The Perfectly Clear integration does a lot of work behind the scenes. Each time you apply a Perfectly Clear preset, the Perfectly Clear technology will work pixel by pixel through each image and determine what needs to be done to that pixel to meet your standards. This means that Perfectly Clear is not a blanket filter that is applied to an entire image. It's much more dynamic than that. Take a look at these images of mine. They already look good, but with a little correction they could be great. All I need to do is simply select each of these images and apply my preset. Notice the difference? Let me show you how the same images look side by side with the originals. Notice the colors, the vibrancy, the way that these new images pop, and the way the lighting looks on them. All of that was done behind the scenes with the Perfectly Clear integration. Think of all the time that this could save. You will no longer have to spend hours behind the desk going over each image doing tedious manual editing. Imagine being able to go from shooting a session to almost instantly going into a sales presentation or just uploading your images for online viewing. That's how much time this all-in-one solution could save you. With our integration, you can even apply your presets right during the import of your images. You can apply the presets to any single image or group of images that you select. You can also use the Perfectly Clear integration when you shoot tethered using our group capture feature. So there's lots of options that you can do. And hopefully this short demo is enough to get you excited about Perfectly Clear. Now that you've seen what it can do, let's talk about how you actually start using it. Setup for Perfectly Clear is very simple. First, you may want to customize your presets to exactly what you need for your settings and shooting style. To do this, you will need to open your image adjustment panel by going to Adjustments and then Show Image Adjustment Panel. Notice that a Control, Shift, and I will also open the panel. This new panel is where you can customize your image adjustments. Then, from this drop-down, you can choose a perfectly clear preset that you want to modify. Notice the three buttons to the right of the drop-down. Using the first one, we can save over the original preset. We highly recommend you use this second option though, especially when you're working with the built-in perfectly clear presets. The second option will save as a new preset. This way, you can always go back to the original perfectly clear preset settings. And then the third option is to delete the preset. Once you are modifying the correct preset, you can use these drop-downs to modify your adjustment settings. Use the perfectly clear section to modify the perfectly clear settings. These settings are applied pixel by pixel, wherever a correction is needed. The other standard adjustments, like adjustments, levels, and curves, are blanket adjustments that affect the entire image. So using a combination, you can get the exact preset that you need. And then when you're done, either click Save as New or Save. So let's run through an example real quick. Let's say that I'm working with this picture here, and in my eye, I think that it needs a little bit more brightness. So I can go to Adjustments and increase the brightness to whatever I need it to be. There, that looks a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and save as a new preset, and I'm just going to call it Preset 1. Now in the future, I can just go to Save Presets, and here's my preset that I just saved. Alright, before we go any further, let's talk about each of these perfectly clear correction tools that we have available. Keep in mind that everything I'm about to tell you can be found in the perfectly clear help page, if you forget, or if you just need it in writing. So the first option is exposure. Exposure is by far the most important correction tool, and it is the foundation of the other corrections. By replicating the way your eye gathers light, the exposure correction overcomes the distortions caused by a single aperture, like a camera. And it goes on to correct your exposure pixel by pixel without clipping. The image is corrected to show what the photographer and the subject saw at the time the picture was taken. So when this tool is applied, Perfectly Clear looks at each image and suggests how much exposure correction is needed. Here you can define how much correction you would like done. You can use the high for the most correction and low for the least. Feel free to drag the slider to find your perfect exposure correction level. Our second option is depth, or contrast. Perfectly Clear's depth correction optimizes the contrast in each and every pixel of an image without creating artifacts or deleting information. This gives you an image with a lot of punch and depth. To give you an idea what you should use, most photographers like lots of contrast and depth, so they keep their bar very far to the right side. And since the eye perceives in 3D, contrast is a great way to make an image pop. Now here's a tip for this setting. For very dark photos, try actually turning the depth correction off in order to bring out the extreme details. And also note that turning the depth to 0% like this is not the same as turning it off. To turn it off, just simply uncheck the box. The third option is skin and depth bias. The bias corrections automatically cover up many of the flaws created by digital cameras and allow you to further tweak how much depth that you want in your images. And that's all there really is to that one. The fourth option is fidelity. Digital cameras are currently incapable of reproducing the full spectrum of colors that the eye sees. Don't believe me? Take a picture of a purple object and then compare the picture side by side with the real object. The fidelity correction tool maps untrue colors created in the camera and puts them back into true colors seen with the human eye at the time that the photo was taken. allowing you to better preserve the memory of that moment. For this option, there are two settings that you can choose: Standard and Vivid. Standard will remap the colors normally, and Vivid will do the same and actually accentuate the colors. This gives the picture more vivid colors and a little bit more punch. Moving on, the next option is Vibrance. The Vibrance correction tool determines whether or not the camera captured the full vibrancy of the colors in an image. If it didn't, the image will be corrected to restore the washed out and faded colors in the image, while it maintains the true colors represented in the original image. Perfectly Clear looks at each channel independently, mimics how the eye adjusts saturation, and provides you with a color vibrant image. If the camera properly captured true color, this correction tool will have no effect on the image. Moving the slider to the right will give you richer color vibrancy, but it also may cause clipping at the low end of the RGB spectrum. And then once again, like depth, there is a difference between 0% and when you actually uncheck it to turn it off. The sixth option is Skin Smoothing. Here, the skin is smoothed and wrinkles and blemishes are diminished automatically, while making sure the details in the hair, eyes, etc. are preserved. You can choose the Smooth setting for a very realistic look. Super Smooth is an even smoother option, but keep in mind that there might be some loss in detail. Next, we have Sharpening. Perfectly Clear's Sharpening correction tool consists of a series of very powerful and unique algorithms that delivers a crisp-looking photo that is artifact-free. The right side of the slider is for crisper-looking images. Two more to go. Skin Tone is designed to help eliminate the extra infrared that cameras pick up from the skin. That infrared can make the skin seem redder than it really is, especially in an indoor setting with the flash on. The Perfectly Clear Skin Tone correction automatically detects and removes infrared from skin tones while maintaining the proper reds in other parts of the image. In addition, people in different regions of the world might have different preferences for skin tones. Simply increase the strength of redness that you want to remove by moving this slider to the right. And then finally there is Light Diffusion. This correction tool is meant for portraits, weddings, and close facial shots. It smooths the blemishes in the face, and it creates a diffused, softer image with less contrast. Skin tones will often be slightly warmer or more red when this correction is applied. So use a combination of these options to create perfect presets for the many styles of images that you take. Alright, now that we have some presets to work with, let's go over how to apply the presets to our images. And there are two ways that we can do this. The first way is to apply a preset when you actually import the images from the camera card or camera using either the Import Images tool or the Group Capture tool. In the Import Images tool, found here, go to the Create Previews tab, and near the bottom, you can add in your image adjustment preset. In the Group Capture tool, found by going to Tools, Group Capture, on the same Create Previews tab, you can select your image adjustment preset near the bottom as well. Keep in mind that any adjustments you make to the images are not permanent. You can take them off at any time, and I'll show you how to do this in just a second. So feel free to use an adjustment on import, then fine-tune your images later on. The second way that you can use your presets is by applying them to single images or even to groups of images. And you can do this from anywhere you could apply image colorizations before, if you're familiar with Spectra. The four main places this can be done is on the Workflow Hub, in a sales presentation, on an invoice, and on your production orders. At any point, simply right-click on an image or a group of images you selected, go down to Adjustments, and choose your image adjustment preset. So that was for one image. Now let's apply it to a group of images. Simply hold the Shift key, select multiple images, then you can right-click, Adjustments, and choose your new adjustment. Then if you want to actually change the preset chosen, all you have to do is simply right-click and choose the new adjustment. This should allow you to quickly try a variety of presets to see what works best for an image or group of images. And one final note about applying your presets. These image presets do not get fully applied to an image until you render out a new high-res copy of the image. Rendered images will permanently include any preset corrections if you tell Spectra to apply them. For more information about rendering, check out the help page on rendering images. Okay, so you've probably seen in the preset list a bunch of default presets that were already included from Perfectly Clear. But what do they do? For this final section, I want to quickly cover the default Perfectly Clear presets that are built into the software. You are more than welcome to tweak them, but they should be pretty good to go as they are. Let's just say I'm taking a look at this image, and it doesn't look like it has enough exposure for my liking. I can simply open the Image Adjustments panel, right here, and then go in and make the necessary changes. So let's say I want to bump my exposure up. Notice how the image updates automatically with your changes. Now imagine that you want to apply those tweaks to multiple images. Simply use this button near the top to copy the changes that we just made. Then select the images, and then use the second button, which is the paste feature. To make this process even easier, you can use the Ctrl-C shortcut to copy the preset, then select your images, and then Ctrl-V to paste the preset. It's that simple. And then while we are here, notice this third button. Using this, you can undo your changes to your images in sequential order. What I mean by sequential order is that Spectra remembers every step you take. Every adjustment you make to an image is recorded. This allows you to step backwards to get back to the exact step that you need. Let's run through a quick example to show you what I mean about undoing. So let's say I'm looking at this image and I add in a couple of different things. I'm going to add in brightness here, and let's add quite a bit more exposure. Okay? So remember, I did brightness, then exposure. Now, if I use the undo, watch as the exposure goes, and if I click undo again, now the brightness goes. So it steps back in a sequential order. Feel free to also use the Ctrl-Z as a shortcut for the undo button. Just like Ctrl-C is a copy, Ctrl-V is paste, Ctrl-Z will do an undo. Hopefully these tools can help you streamline your workflow even more. Now let's take a look at the default presets already included with the integration. So the first preset we're going to take a look at is the Beautify preset. Here you can see the preset in action. Beautify is a robust preset designed to work on a wide variety of photos: indoor, outdoor, flash photography, portrait, etc. The most common correction tools are turned on for this one: exposure, depth, vibrance, skin smoothing, sharpening, and skin tone. Because each image is corrected individually, you can apply this preset to a large variety of photos, knowing that no damage will be done to them. Moving on, the next preset is Subtle. And here it is in action. Notice how it's just like the Beautify preset, but more subtle, with the exposure and a few of the portrait-related corrections down a little bit. Next, we have the Light Diffusion. Light diffusion takes the subtle settings and adds light diffusion to it, which creates a more diffused, softer image with less contrast. Next, we have newborn. For a softer, more natural look, the newborn preset turns off the vibrance correction and uses less skin smoothing. The skin and depth bias is also adjusted. Finally, we have the Fix Dark preset. Just like it sounds, this preset is designed to fix dark photos. The exposure correction is amplified to bring out details, and the depth correction is turned off. Also, the color and portrait corrections are enabled. On a side note, this preset will work wonders in revealing the details of an image, but these photos typically contain lots of noise, which will also be revealed as the darkness is removed. And that wraps up our perfectly clear integration. Spectra and Stratus desktop users can now enjoy the benefit of a truly automated workflow. Whether using the default presets or creating your own, the perfectly clear integration can help save you lots of time and allow you to spend more time taking pictures, not to mention the increase in profitability. If you have any questions about the perfectly clear integration, feel free to check out the Perfectly Clear help page, the Athentech imaging website on Perfectly Clear, or contact one of our tech support staff for help.